Newshour Special Edition.
Hello and a very warm welcome. Thanks for tuning into Times Now. You're watching the Newshour at 9 with me, Kritsween Walia. Narendra Modi, since becoming Prime Minister in 2014, has built the ruling Bharatiya Janata Party into the powerful vote-getting machine that it is today. The recently concluded elections and BJP's victory in the 3 Hindi heartland states has brought back to the table the discussion on how popular is brand Modi really. But this popularity, it seems, isn't limited to election results alone. Solidifying his position as one of the most popular leaders on the world stage, PM Modi has once again topped global approval ratings charts according to a recent survey by US-based consultancy firm Morning Consult. The survey revealed that 76% of Indians approve of PM Modi's leadership, a significant lead over other world leaders. This marks the latest instances of PM Modi's sustained popularity among Indian citizens. He has consistently maintained high approval ratings throughout his tenure, even amidst challenges such as the COVID-19 pandemic and economic fluctuations. Now, Prime Minister Modi's approval rating of 76% stands significantly higher than other world leaders surveyed by Morning Consult. The Mexican president follows with an approval rating of 66%, while Swiss president is ranked third with 58%. US President Joe Biden was at 37% and Justin Trudeau clocked just about 31% approval ratings. Like I said, the survey results came right after the BJP's Hindi heartland sweep in 3 states. The BJP wrested power from Congress in Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh and retained power in Madhya Pradesh, thereby further expanding its footprint. Many, including BJP leaders, have credited the BJP's spectacular victory to Modi ki guarantee. But first, listen into the Prime Minister and what he said in his victory speech on December 3rd.
इन चुनावों में महिलाओं ने, बहनों बेटियों ने एक प्रकार से भाजपा के विजय की पूरी जिम्मेवारी अपने हाथ में उठा ली थी। मैं आज पूरी विनम्रता से देश की हर बहन बेटी को यही कहूंगा कि आपसे जो वायदा बीजेपी ने किए हैं वो 100% पूरे किए जाएंगे। ये मोदी की गारंटी है और मोदी की गारंटी यानी गारंटी पूरा होने की गारंटी। मतदाता को उसका जीवन बेहतर करने के लिए एक स्पष्ट रोड मैप चाहिए, एक विश्वसनीयता चाहिए, एक भरोसा चाहिए। इसलिए वो बीजेपी को चुन रहा है, लगातार चुन रहा है। और कुछ लोग तो कह रहे हैं कि आज की इस हैट्रिक ने 24 की हैट्रिक की गारंटी दे दी है। सिर्फ कुछ परिवारवादियों के मंच पर एक साथ आ जाने से फोटो कितनी अच्छी निकल जाए, देश का भरोसा नहीं जीता जाता। देश की जनता का दिल जीतने के लिए राष्ट्र सेवा का जज्बा होना चाहिए। गाली गलौज, निराशा, नेगेटिविटी, ये घमंडिया गठबंधन को मीडिया की हेडलाइन जरूर दे सकती है, लेकिन जनता के दिल में स्थान नहीं दिला सकती।
Well, the BJP on expected lines welcomed the survey results, claiming that the approval ratings highlight Prime Minister Modi's unique position as a highly popular leader, calling it a validation of his leadership and policies. However, critics have pointed out that the survey only reflects the opinion of a limited sample size and may not represent the entire Indian population. They also accuse the BJP of being selective, saying when international institutions say something negative, BJP rejects it as a conspiracy. But when someone praises Modi, they celebrate it in full glory.
ये देश के लिए बहुत गौरवशाली समय है ये, और ये सुनकर बड़ा खुशी होती है कि 76% विश्व के लोग आज मोदी जी को ग्लोबल लीडर के रूप में मानते हैं, क्योंकि आज वो देखते हैं कि भारतवर्ष और मोदी जी ही आज विश्व की समस्याओं को निदान करा सकते हैं, चाहे पानी की समस्या हो, चाहे जलवायु की समस्या हो, चाहे अनेक समस्याएं, युद्ध की समस्या हो, मित्रता और दोस्ती की हो, सभी के अंदर मुझे लगता है आने वाले समय के अंदर मोदी जी को एक सब परेशानी को साकार खत्म करने के लिए देख रहे हैं। और वो समय आने वाला है कि देश विश्व गुरु ही नहीं बनेगा और मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में अनेक योजनाओं को आगे अंजाम दिया जाएगा।
Evening consult will show some other thing. Therefore, these kind of joking things, let us stop these things. These are all imaginary, paid things which they are doing.
पूरे विश्व के अंदर भारत की सोच की चमक व धमक मोदी जी ने बढ़ाई है। इसलिए आज पूरे विश्व के अंदर, चाहे वो कोरोना की महामारी का प्रबंधन हो, महामारी के खिलाफ लड़ाई हो, या महामारी को समाप्त करने के लिए वैक्सीनेशन हो, आज उसके कारण, मोदी जी की स्वच्छता के कारण, मोदी जी की ईमानदारी के कारण, मेहनत की प्रकाष्ठा के कारण आज पूरे विश्व के अंदर उनका गुणगान गाया जा रहा है।
वर्ल्ड प्रेस रैंकिंग्स आती हैं जहाँ पे हम फिसलते जा रहे हैं, वो नकार दी जाती है, उसको कह दिया जाता है कि डेटा ड्रिवन नहीं है। वर्ल्ड हंगर इंडेक्स आती है तो मैडम स्मृति ईरानी कह देती हैं कि ये फ़ोन पे पूछते हैं और कोई अगर किसी ने लंच स्किप किया होगा, ब्रेकफास्ट स्किप किया होगा, तो अपने आप को कह देते हैं हाँ भूखे हैं, इसलिए उनको वर्ल्ड हंगर इंडेक्स बना देते हैं। डेमोक्रेसी रैंकिंग्स आती हैं तो उसको कह देते हैं कि सब बकवास है, वेस्टर्न आइडिया ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी है। और अब यही इंटरनेशनल रैंकिंग्स आ रही हैं, इसी का वाह भाई वाह लूटते हुए सारे बिलबोर्ड्स पूरे देश भर में लगेंगे कि कितने फेमस हमारे प्रधानमंत्री हैं, कितने पॉपुलर हमारे प्रधानमंत्री हैं।
Well, this is not the first time when brand Modi has received a thumbs up for powering India as a major player on the global stage. Several world leaders have time and again heaped praises on Prime Minister Modi, hailing his leadership and vision. Russian President Vladimir Putin, for example, called Prime Minister Modi a true patriot. Former UK Prime Minister used the phrase "khas dost" for PM Modi. In fact, Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese called PM Modi the boss, and US President Joe Biden said that PM Modi is so popular that he wishes to take his autograph. It isn't just Modi's charisma that has wowed the world, perhaps. It's the performance of his government in the last 9 years which has been taken note of globally. Under Modi's leadership, India has become the 5th largest economy and is on course to become the 3rd largest in 2027 as per the IMF projection. Despite adverse impact of COVID on the world economy, India's GDP grew from 7.4% in 2014 to 8.68% in 2021-22. Giant strides have also been made in poverty elevation and FDI inflows, and yet there's a whole section that believes all this is paid and perhaps imaginary. So let's quickly open this up with our guest joining us this evening. On the Newshour, we have spokesperson of the BJP, Tuhin Sinha, along with political analyst Asif Bamla. We also have political analyst Kamruzaman Chaudhary, national spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party, Ghanshyam Tiwari, and political analyst Ravi Srivastav, who completes the panel. Mr. Kamruzaman Chaudhary, I want to first up, come across to you, because naturally the last few days were electorally very charged. We saw the BJP's victory in the 3 states, Telangana going to the Congress party, and ever since there's been no end really to the war of words, even if one thought so. And comes this global rating, 76% popularity that the Prime Minister enjoys. Why should it be called paid or imaginary?
Basically the irony out here is this, when you are speaking about the morning consult which had carried out this survey, this carries out what is on a basis of the moving average of adult residents in each country, and every week it gets updated. That is the basic data that is coming out from this. Now, what is the sample size of this survey? What countries, how many number of countries? It seems they have conducted a survey of 22 countries. No doubt, as an Indian, I feel proud that my Prime Minister is among the top of the world. There is no doubt about it. But then there is another silver lining, or what you call this, you may call me a critic. But this same ecosystem will blame the George Soros, and Morning Consult, it seems, is funded by a company of the George Soros. So a Soros company is funding Morning Consult, and the Morning Consult is declaring Narendra Modi as the top leader of the world. That is the irony. The irony can never be lost. You know what
Which is all the more reason you can't call it paid or imaginary, Mr. Chaudhary. Which is then all the more reason you can't call it paid or imaginary.
No, ma'am, your voice is not clear with me. But anyhow, let me just tell you something. You know, when you call that the leader of the global south, we are very proud, because right from Indira Gandhi times, when the non-aligned movement was formed, then more than 100 countries came together to form a what you call this non-aligned movement. Now the name has literally shifted to the global south, but still then we are despised by the Western world, and in that condition the global south needs to have relevance of the sufferings of the problems that we are facing, and the West need not be oblivious to us. We are not a guinea pig of the world, of the Western world. We need to assert ourselves. That is for the fact, and there is no denying the fact. When India stands up as a leader, is to be a true leader.
So while you're taking pride, in all of this, and you're trying to talk about the larger picture of where India stands globally, so on and so forth, this is a very simple topic which pertains to a global rating that's favored the Prime Minister, and how the opposition says it's either paid or imaginary, or the BJP is purposely doing it to just stay in the headlines. Before I go across to Tuhin Sinha, I want to quickly go across to Ghanshyam Tiwari as well. Mr. Tiwari, do you share the same opinion as is being expressed by Mr. Chaudhary?
Good evening, Kritsween, and to you, the viewers and fellow co-panelists.
No,
I think the contradiction for the viewers should be obvious. That at one end, whether it is global hunger index, the passport index, the inequality index, the women in workforce index, gender equality index, the press freedom index, and there are many more, that each of these global indices have put India on a retrograde ladder. On the other end, we have global indices who says that Indian Prime Minister is the best Prime Minister ever in the world, or probably ever in India, and maybe both. There could be someone who can come out. So this is the contradiction, that it seems the nation is losing in the global eyes, and the Prime Minister is winning, be it as it may be. The fact is that in India, the Prime Minister, under his leadership, BJP has won 3 massive elections in the heartland, and we are into 2024. And the opportunity for India Alliance is not to criticize the Prime Minister or what the global indexes are telling him about him. The opportunity for India Alliance is to look at the unsolved problem that no matter how popular our Prime Minister is, that he could not deliver the 2 crore jobs a year that India needs. He could not deliver women in workforce that India needs. He could not deliver a 500 rupees cylinder that India, which is massively poor, where 80 crore people are dependent on government rations and saying, thank you, Modi ji. They could not deliver a 500 rupees cylinder to these people, or 50 rupees petrol to these people. These are the opportunities to uplift the lower income groups and the poor in the true sense, not in the Modi sense, which is there'll be hype and no delivery. The true sense, that is the
hype but no delivery. Tuhin Sinha, some in the opposition have also come out to say whenever any international outlet, any rating agency is giving negative ratings to our country under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi, the BJP calls it conspiracy. And given this excellent 76% that's come our way, an excellent rating for the Prime Minister, they're going to be ensuring that this turns out to be a big headline.
Well, good evening, Kritsween. Good evening, everybody. The massive 76% approval ratings for Prime Minister Modi should not surprise anybody who travels on the ground, because that is the sense of the nation. It is a vindication and validation of Modi ki guarantee on the one hand, and his visionary zeal for Viksit Bharat. You need to understand that in a democracy, and in a perfect democracy, to achieve these form of approval ratings after 10 years is nothing short of phenomenal, because the other democracy, the second largest democracy, the US, the President Biden is reporting an approval rating of 37%. It is only possible when you manage to serve every section of society, which Prime Minister Modi has managed to do through the social welfare schemes on the one hand, through the massive infrastructure creation, through the transformation in the defense sector, and through certain very positive geopolitical moves which have completely thwarted China's expansionary zeal. The India, Middle East, European corridor, or inclusion of African Union are revolutionary steps which have obviously put him in an altogether different league. If This opposition chooses to be in denial. That's their problem. But I would also like to briefly dwell upon the global hunger index. If this opposition wants to endorse a global hunger index, which puts Pakistan and Afghanistan ahead of us, good luck to them. Demeaning the country is something which this opposition specializes in.
Okay.
This opposition, just 10 more seconds, if this opposition wants to speak about the global press freedom index, unfortunately, they have no moral right to do so after the boycott threat they had issued against 15 journalists.
All right. Mr. Ravi Srivastav, if the Modi government is not doing enough for the women, if it's not doing enough for the youth with regards to jobs, if it's not doing enough to ensure that financially we're a more stable nation, then how is it that the Modi government is being voted to power time and again? How is it that the BJP has managed to steal Chhattisgarh and Rajasthan from the Congress and retain Madhya Pradesh? There has to be some truth to the voter sentiment, isn't it?
See, Kritsween, winning is the one part in the politics. Somebody wins, somebody loses. Jo jeeta wahi Sikandar is the dialogue. But the fact is that it is not that country has rejected.
और जो हारा वो EVM की वजह से हारा. Ravi Srivastav.
The country is not one-sided. There are 40% plus votes for Congress in Madhya Pradesh, in Rajasthan, and in Chhattisgarh. So it's a strong opposition there, and they have got the more votes they wanted. Fact is, what is popularity? Even Hitler was very popular. Even Donald Trump was very popular. Even Muammar Gaddafi was very popular. Even Idi Amin was very popular. What the popularity has to do with this? These kind of paid surveys are good enough with a fodder for the BJP who look for these kind of cherry picking. If somebody criticizes
But was Hitler called the boss? Mr. Srivastav, was he called a true patriot? Was he called somebody under whom the country is growing?
You should stop this comparison, this nonsensical comparison with Hitler. Anybody out of the senses
did I interrupt you?
Prime Minister with Hitler,
did I interrupt you?
Should not be allowed on your show, please.
Okay, Ravi Srivastav. Let's not make bizarre analogies and comparisons. Let's stick to the point here. The point being 76% popularity that Prime Minister Narendra Modi enjoys, and it comes very, very close to the election results in the 3 Hindi heartland states. And the Prime Minister has been saying, एक साथ फोटो खिंचवाने से, एक साथ एक स्टेज पे होने से आप कोई point नहीं prove कर पाएंगे. There has to be work that needs to be done on ground.
This election result does not prove that this is global rating and all those things. Let's go to sample size. Which particular audience was surveyed for this? Even the website of the morning consult shows they are surveying only the Americans.
Okay.
Are they doing the survey there? Right? It's kind of this morning consult or evening consult will show something else. This is not the case. We are the worst placed people as far as the majority indexes are concerned. Whether the press freedom or the global hunger index or women's safety index, we are very high on the unemployment, we are very high on the inflation.
How should this charge be responded to? Mr. Bhamla, how should this charge of, this being a PR stunt or in an imaginary, perhaps plant, all of that, how should it be responded to? Because, the Morning Consult, the same agency has conducted a similar survey. In that too, the Prime Minister emerged as a favourite with 78%, and this was February 2023. So why would these questions not be asked? For example, from, let's say, a Morning Consult.
You see, in spite of Narendra Modi's, top global ratings, 76%, and the other countries are way, way, way beyond in terms of the ratings. And I don't understand a set of incompetent leaders from different parties are still are dreaming of dislodging a Karam Yogi. It is very surprising. And this is not because he's Narendra Modi ji, or not because of anything else, but because of its pro-developmental growth policies, the decisive leadership globally. Let me also tell you, he in the world is rated as the most trusted leader, because even in the global crisis of the world during the COVID, he the country managed to, come out of that. That's why we say it's the Modi magic. It's the Modi
but how do you respond to the charge that whenever there are negative ratings coming Modi government's way, including democracy ratings, the Modi government rubbishes it off as a conspiracy, as international conspiracy?
You see, the ratings...
Where do we draw the line? How do we decide this or that way?
No, you see, आपका देश अच्छा कर रहा है, इसका गर्व होना चाहिए. आज मेरे देश के प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी, इसका गर्व मुझे इसलिए है क्योंकि जब मैं विश्व भर में ट्रैवल करता हूं, मैं उनके तासुरात देखता हूं, मैं उनका बिहेवियरल डिफरेंसेस देखता हूं जो कभी हुआ करता था. It was very unfortunate and it was not in good spirit that the earlier Prime Minister of my country was not given that time limelight. We've seen what happened in the G20 summit. We saw the eyeballs that my Prime Minister took during all global summits. Now forget it in India, even globally. He was the center of attraction, and he was one numero uno leader whom the world leaders were looking forward to see, to be photographed with, and to be written off.
And nobody can deny
So
it. Nobody, Mr. Bumla, can deny it, because we're not talking about the Indian voter. We're not talking about the INDI bloc. We're talking about global leaders, presidents, prime ministers of different countries who've heaped these long praises on Prime Minister Narendra Modi time and again. COVID handling, G20 presidency, the list is endless.
Exactly.
Mr. Kamruzaman Chaudhary wants to quickly come in.
He's the most admired leader, and the world is proud of him as a Pradhan Sevak.
Okay, Kamruzaman Chaudhary. Quickly, 30 seconds, sir.
I have a few points to make out here. Yeah, I've got a few small points to make out here. You know, one of the prime contender for the United States presidential poll, Vivek Ramaswamy, what he said yesterday while criticizing Nikki Haley, another right-wing presidential hopeful in the United States, he said there is a replacement theory going on. And what did he suggest about the replacement theory? He said he even is a migrant in the United States. Now what he was suggesting is that people from the global south with little IQ coming and trying to replace the American people. And you, as a nation, as a media person, you will jump against those reports of the Wall Street Journal or the New York Times, and now you are utilizing one person.
One second, in one line, Mr. Chaudhary, what are you trying to say? Are you trying to question the intellectual capability of this part of the world?
Chaudhary,
one second, what's the point you're making?
Let me interject, Mr. Chaudhary. Not only the nation, the Prime Minister, also the people of the world.
Let me finish. Let me finish, please.
Are doing very well. You see the top CEOs of different top corporates.
Mr. Tuhin Sinha, agar padhai
Mr. No, that's not Mr. Sinha. That's not Mr. Sinha, Mr. Chaudhary. That's Mr. Bangla.
Let me finish.
But all right, 30 seconds to you. Please finish quickly. I'm running out of time.
Let me finish. When we jump over and criticize the foreign journals criticizing India, when Venden, the Swedish paper, criticized India as the elected autocracy, then we were criticizing them. Now, if we give a damn to the Washington Post, or the New York Times,
so we should always give in to negative criticism. We should not pay any heed, as per you, to any positive research, any positive analysis that has been done on the Modi government or on the country, because the opposition has decided that the two go hand in hand. All right, Tuhin Sinha wants to quickly come in, and then I need to go across to Mr. Tiwari.
Kritsween, the very fact that on your prime time show, some absurd mind can compare Prime Minister Modi with Hitler shows that we are the most liberal, we are the most indulgent democracy. So let us not even talk about the democracy ratings, because, some of these people, if they travel to, other countries, they will see the condition of democracy. Now, number two, in as much as the mandate in these three
Mr. Ravi Srivastava, please. Let's not do this. Please.
In as much as in these three Hindi heartland states, the mandate was an for BJP's proactive governance policies. It was also against the politics of negativity of this opposition, and still they continue to peddle that negativity day in and day out, including on your show. I think they should rise above it rather than they should feel some pride.
Okay, well, is that a sign that the opposition must watch out for? Is it the people of the country speaking out loud to the opposition? We'll continue this. We need to head into a quick break. Ghanshyam Tiwari. Welcome back. Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi dominates global leader approval ratings with an impressive 76%. The opposition asks, why should we believe this figure? We have Mr. Ghanshyam Tiwari with us as well, to which I want to quickly put out this statistics, Mr. Tiwari. You're saying that nothing has been done, not enough has been done by the BJP government. But what about the economic status of the country? What about the financial condition of our country? And I'm quoting to you certain data from 2014. This is the last couple of years. Like I said, and I said this in my opening statement as well, the IMF projection states it very clearly that we're on our way to become the third largest economy by 2027. GDP, despite the 2-year-long COVID gap, GDP in 2021-2022 was recorded at 8.68%, and this was from 2014 to 2015, which was noted at 7.4%. So you're clearly seeing a jump there as well. Inflation, India's inflation rate was amongst the lowest in year 2022. So barring the last 4-5 odd years, we've managed to control inflation pretty well as well. And yet you say enough has not been done, despite so many applauds coming in for the Prime Minister from across the country, from across the world, not just the country.
I'll make 2 quick points. Obviously, these indexes, hunger index, gender index, does not matter. Look at how powerful Indian women are, Kritsween, that it took an entire parliament, 303 thumping majority of BJP, to oust one member of parliament who's a woman. Entire parliament. And a billionaire supporting.
And who's ensured more representation of women in the parliament, since you're speaking of the parliament?
It's not a rhetorical question. Let Tuhina come back to this. It has taken, never ever have women been so powerful that one member of parliament had thrown out of the parliament. It took 303 MPs of a party who were not given a time to debate. That's one. Our women are so powerful that a Bahubali MP of BJP will face protest. Nothing happens to him. The Prime Minister is protecting them. But at least the women medal winners in India are able to protest against the Bahubali BJP MP. That is the power of women MP. This is what Mr. Modi has ensured. As far as your question is concerned, I am saying that it is not about criticizing. It's very simple. The youth of India require jobs. Mr. Modi for 10 years could not deliver it. It is 2 crore jobs a year. Can India Alliance deliver it? That is the opportunity. The Indian people cannot pay 1,200.
But for that, Mr. Tiwari, the India Alliance needs to come together at least. They can't be fighting about seat sharing formulas in every part of the country before reaching the 2024 stage.
Fair point. But you also agree in that question. The agreement is that 2 crore jobs were not delivered.
What is his own leader saying about the Indian Alliance?
Fair point that Indian people, Mr. Bamla can afford it, but average Indian household cannot afford 1,200 rupees cylinder.
Besides, I think it's completely unfair that we're time and again trying to focus on a woman parliamentarian. There's a 2005 episode which the speaker also spoke of. So as far as the Moitra episode is concerned, let's not make it about a male parliamentarian or a female parliamentarian. But Mr. Bhamla wants to honestly make a point, so let me come in.
Against her. Look at the charge. I mean, think about it, Kritsween, what you just said. That Braj Bhushan,
my friend from Samajwadi
Party. We are not willing to digress too much since we don't have too much time, Mr. Tiwari. Let Mr. Bhamla come in.
Mr. Tiwari, I am surprised that you're saying this, but I mean, अखिलेश जी के अपने भी तो विचारधाराओं को आप थोड़ा सा चैनल्स पर लाइए. जब उन्होंने खुद मध्य प्रदेश तो ये दागी विषय है, और ये तो छोड़िए, आपका कांग्रेस कहती है कि आप जिम्मेदार हो उनकी हार का, तो कम से कम इस पर तो आप लोग ने मंथन करना चाहिए कि भाई आप लोग कितने साथ हैं और कितने अलग हैं. बस जहां तक के मोदी जी के खिलाफ अगर कुछ है तो वो आप लोग सब एक हो जाओगे, लेकिन वो कोई हमारे लिए नया नहीं, क्योंकि के पिछले सरकार में भी यही परिस्थिति थी और आप लोग सब साथ मिलकर भी ये हाल हुआ। और दुर्भाग्यवश जो था सेमीफाइनल में हमने इतनी जीत नहीं हासिल की, हमने चारों में हार गए। लेकिन इस
Mr. Bamla, कोशिश तो पूरी है. They're trying their level best to come together. Mr. Ravi Srivastava also wants to come in and respond to you. They're trying their level best. It's not happened so far, and the results mandate 2023 has spoken of how the opposition is still in fragments. But Ravi Srivastava, please.
Why I say that this popularity rating is a negative one. Why I say it for a reason. There were 1 year, the farmers of this country were sitting on the Delhi border, out of which 750 died. There was a demonetization in this country on 8th November 2016. 145 people died standing in the queues. These are the black spots on the Prime Minister and this nation. This never happens in any country of the world like this. The kind of attitude our Prime Minister and the BJP has got. The BJP has got the hypocrisy and the bigotry of saying so. The good things said about in any criticism about India,
many black spots. So this 76% should not go to PM Modi. To Insina, 30 seconds to you. I need to quickly wrap up. 30 seconds.
You know, it's too rich for the Samajwadi Party, which brought gangsters like Atiq Ahmed to parliament to worry about women representation, and that too on the issue of Mahua Moitra, who herself has not been able to disprove the allegations against her. Secondly, when Mr. Tiwari talks about, employment, please understand that a capital expenditure of 10 lakh crore per year cannot be jobless growth. The nature of economy has changed. The nature of jobs has changed. Today, there is a huge gig economy. Contractual jobs are on the rise. And, the exact authentication of the numbers will happen over a period of time. But I think, it's about time the opposition realizes that the popularity of Prime Minister is instrumental in converting our, is instrumental in our victories in the state elections and will be instrumental in the victory in Lok Sabha elections.
Well, the opposition may wish not to come across Mr. Sinha another such rating, an approval rating for the Prime Minister. But what they should actually be worried about, what the Prime Minister said and what we just played out, that this perhaps is an indication that 2024 ki hat-trick ki guarantee is also on its way. Let's see how this plays out. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. Tuhin Sinha, Kamruzaman Chaudhary, request you to stay on with us. Asif Bamla, Ghanshyam Tiwari, Ravi Srivastava, appreciate you joining us this evening. Thank you.